Or we can, first of all, not talk about preparing for the test, but help transform our instructional practices so that how we teach will be the way in which we understand students will be prepared to respond to anything. We teach a lot now in the Common Core State Standards. It's a lot deeper with more depth and more critical thinking, and we've been talking about critical thinking, I think, for the last 20 years. But this is now really putting that to the test around that. So it means that we have to enhance the repertoire our staffs have to deliver that quality instruction. It is not about content knowledge necessarily, as much as around being able to think in a facile manner about how to deliver instruction to students at different points of where they are. But it is absolutely right. You know, I had one principal who wrote me and said, "Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad that we are getting ready for the Common Core with these really tough quarterly assessments." And then that same principal then sent like an email, so my God, these are too tough. It's not fair. I mean, it is really a very difficult assessment that we're headed for, and it's part of what we're trying to be prepared for. I also want to say, I'm sorry, because someone talked about the ability to use the computer. And we have actually, the board approved for us to use learning.com to provide digital literacy curriculum in our schools through our media specialists. And one of the things that we made clear that every school should have a media specialist, and so those schools that were wanting, we said no, it's not because of this, but we believe very strongly every school should have a media specialist. So we understand the need for our students to be computer literate, and we are providing that as well for them.
Chair,
yes,
if I may, someone from the public, Gerald Lyles, I think they spoke on regarding emergency. The district does not have an emergency plan. I know for a fact there is. So Dr. Lyles, can you just touch base on that, please?
There is an emergency plan that is distributed and discussed, and Mr. Campana, if you want, I mean, it is discussed, shared. Mr. Human spearheads it, and works, and I mean, it's in writing, and and we can share that.
The district has met other requirements.
Because the state requires this.
For the emergency evacuation plans, keep in mind that you get the fire drill reports, and there is a requirement that I think it's every third drill that they have is part of the emergency evacuation, where they actually go to the locations that have been identified in case of those types of emergencies. We are going one step further. We are going to be providing, they're in print right now, basically what we call short summaries of reminders for emergency plans, so that it's easier to...
We're reviving the flip chart that Ms. Kristen always talks about.
Yeah, so those are in print, they are going out, and they're basically a summary of the detailed evacuation plans that the state requires us to submit to their attention.
Right. But we have submitted that to this, we definitely have submitted that, we had to have that approved. But we want to get a flip chart that they had before, so that it's a ready reference for everyone.
To the chair, are parents informed of that evacuation plan? For instance, 22, they go to number 3.
Right.
So parents informed?
Well, I think the majority of the concentration is district staff and support staff. Part of what we're doing is going to issue to parents the summary. It's a separate printing that's taking place of what we would be doing in cases of emergency. So there is a summary piece that will be shared with parents.
But at the beginning of the year, when there are the parent meetings, et cetera, that's part of the repertoire of what the principal talks about with parents when they have those meetings. And Ms. Costelli is nodding her head, but that is part of it. They talk about what those emergency procedures are, and especially because if students have to be evacuated or sent to another school, and parents have to pick their children up in those other schools, so those kinds of procedures are discussed and reviewed.
Through the chair. There was a comment mentioned tonight by Mr. Lyles about creating a policy to opt out of park. And this question or this issue that's come up before, and I confirmed with Ms. Blackburn, our general counsel, optional opt-out provision in the state of New Jersey. New Jersey did not put that in its, when it adopted the current system. So we do not have an option to opt out. Mr. White, he brought up some comments or an email that he sent to me earlier today, and I still stand by my response to him in that there are inaccuracies in that, there are accusations in that email that are not true, and I don't care what piece of paper you had up there. I know where I